We laughed at them. We laughed at them. And then what happened? Well, then all of a sudden, M-Pesa is now part of Vodacom, or the Voda group, right? The Vodafone group.
Yeah.
And the people who are behind that innovation have created an immense amount of wealth.
Sure.
So what do you think they did, Pen?
We need to find ways to innovate, create wealth, and then reinvest back into smaller businesses. Sambonani, my name is Thembekwayo, and welcome back to my channel. In this channel, we react to timeless conversations so that we can all learn. Kenya and the rest of the East African countries have had a meteoric rise in the space of commerce, in the space of business. Let's listen to Vusi Thembekwayo speak about some of the things that he thinks we can learn from those countries, and we'll have a discussion based on that afterwards.
In my space of venture, 10 years ago, besihleka the rest of Africa.
Of course.
Bahleka, benzani la bantu eKenya, bathi kwenzakalani lapha yena. Nalento yabo ye-M-Pesa bathini?
Sure.
Nyayi, bathumela imali ngefone. Awanawo ATM.
Our banking systems are superior.
Thina ibhanki yethu mina mangifuna imali ngokushaya nge-e-wallet, ngebhanki. Yabona, we laughed at them. We laughed at them. And then what happened? Well, then all of a sudden, M-Pesa is now part of Vodacom, or the Voda group, right? The Vodafone group.
Yeah.
And the people who are behind that innovation have created an immense amount of wealth.
Sure.
So what do you think they did, Pen? They went back into those economies and they found other people building the new M-Pesas. And they put cash there. So they didn't get invited to sit on a board and have paper wealth. They built something and got actual wealth.
Sure.
One of the important things that we need to learn as South Africans is the importance of building. We need to be creating our own businesses, and from that wealth, we'll then be able to reinvest into smaller businesses. We have a problem in this country that we are too dependent on government. And as we know, man, there's a lot of corruption going on there. If we put all our hopes in government and leave all the responsibility to the government, we're not going to develop anything. This country now more than ever needs entrepreneurs to innovate so that we can create wealth, especially Black people in South Africa. We need to find ways to innovate, create wealth, and then reinvest back into smaller businesses. That's one huge lesson we can learn from what has happened in Kenya. As Vusi says, M-Pesa is now part of the Vodafone group. And the guys that created M-Pesa got a lot of money. They were able to go back to their communities and invest in other startups, creating this loop effect. They got impacted, they made money, created wealth, and they went back with that money and found other small businesses that they could support. That is a system that we can learn as South Africans. That's something that we can take and apply to our own economies. We need to forget about this thing of expecting handouts from governments, because we know it doesn't work. It's time we stood up for ourselves. It's time we started. Guys, look, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because the first thing a Black person, when you talk to them, the first thing they want to know, or the first thing that they ask you about is, I don't have capital. Guys, no one has capital when they start. But if you've got ideas that are fundable and you start executing on those ideas, sooner or later investors will come. But we cannot sit around and wait and do nothing. Let's work, let's do something useful, let's collaborate, create wealth so that we can reinvest back into our communities, back into other smaller businesses that have been formed.
And
please say that again. They weren't invited, because someone may have missed that.
And
they weren't invited at funny times to just come and sit on a board and look pretty and tick boxes.
Because and by the way, boards play a fundamental role, but we must be clear about something. If Vusi says to you he's on a board, what I'm telling you is I've been appointed to play a role of governance.
Yes.
Not value creation.
100%.
Founders create value. Executives create value.
Yeah.
Board members don't. They don't.
Oversight government.
And so, njengabantu abamnyama, if we want to be deliberate about transforming the South African economy, we shouldn't be arguing over how many board members listed companies have. We should be arguing over how many founders are listed. That's the conversation.
Very, very important points that Vusi is making. We have mafias in South Africa. We have people who hijack companies and want to have seats in those particular companies. they're not contributing anything positively. Sometimes, in the construction mafia, we have a construction mafia in South Africa. For you to operate in that space, you need to pay a certain amount of money to the gatekeepers, to people that will keep you safe, and you have to give them seats in your board. That's not how business should be done. We need people that have founded businesses to be board members in small startups or in small businesses. So if you're going to select a board, it needs to be a board of people who have founded businesses and understand the struggles of starting a business. It can't just be someone who comes because they have weapons and they can threaten you or they can make your life difficult. Those are not the people that we want to sit in business. That's corruption. Your board members as a business owner, as a startup, needs to be people who have experience in business and not just every Tom, Dick and Harry. Hopefully this timeless conversation brought you some value. I'll be coming back with a lot more. Thank you for joining me. God willing, I'll be seeing you on the next one.